Right, right. It is. And how? I mean, if you look at it, Miami bass was created from a creative standpoint. See, people kind of tend to think when they think Miami bass, we think sexual lyrics. We think explicitness is what defines Miami bass, and it's not. It's just a producer that was creative enough to put sounds together that were just captivating. You know what I mean? So history repeats itself. There's nothing that's been done that hasn't been thought of. So everybody that's doing everything we're doing today, as far as the Flow Riders and the Pit Bulls, especially Pitbull, he's a birth child of Luke Skywalker. You dig what I'm saying? Flow Rider, we're all the birth child of Luke Skywalker and anybody that's accustomed to Miami bass. So the transition has been really quite easy. If you look at it, it hasn't been like a feel of they're trying to bring that back or something like that, because it, like we discussed earlier, it set a tone for good music. And a lot of the music today, why it is so short-lived, is because, well, the subgenres in hip-hop, why they are so short-lived is because it's no real creativity. You know what I mean? And no disrespect to how hip-hop started, period. Hip-hop began based on samples being taken. You know what I mean? The DJs in New York, they ran the sample back and they rapped over that loop. Well, we were the first people to actually go in the studio and say, tat, 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 boom, boom, boom. Let me turn this into a series of tat, tat, tats and boom, boom, booms and create a record without lyrics. You know what I mean? So when you have that type of, that's almost like taking it back to the Congo years of where real music came from, just playing a drum. Well, that's in, whether it's Spanish culture or whatever, African culture, playing a drum, period. When you have that type of foundation for your genre, it'll really never go out. It'll just keep getting reinvented, and that's what's happening with Miami bass. It will never be like Miami bass is old or Miami bass is over. Because if you understand the true meaning of Miami bass, it's basically an 808 generated sound. Now, all the lyrics that came after that, that's something that you can say, okay, that's been done. So if you approach a beat with high 808s and high hi-hats the same way Luke Skywalker did, then yeah, you are repeating that. But if you do like a Flow Rider and a Pitbull, and you take that general foundation and you bring your new ideas and your new energy to the foundation that's been laid, you can use the same 808 and hi-hat a million times. It's going to be a different record every time, and it's going to live on forever. So truthfully, Miami bass has just as much meaning to hip-hop as the original samplers in New York had, because though they were creative enough to take something that was already made, Miami producers were creative enough to take something that has never been made, something that's as simple as a tat and a drum, and turn it into music. You know what I mean? So you gotta give credit to them and the people who are using it the right way, as you mentioned, as the Flow Riders and the Pit Bulls, who are selling millions of records, just basically taking that format. I think they're paying homage to the people who did start it. I don't look at it as them not understanding where this has come from. So,
and such to the point, obviously, is thanks to Afro Rican, the Black Eyed Peas had a big
hit. Exactly. You know what I mean? You see what I mean? Boom, boom, boom. That's Miami bass. We can look at it how we want to, but once there's an 808 and there's a hi-hat and whatever else happens in between, that correlates with Miami bass. You know what I mean?
And growing up in Miami, obviously, you're
absolutely.
Descent,
that's absolutely.
So the whole Caribbean influence
absolutely.
Of fast music,
of course.
All goes
right, it all goes hand in hand, because definitely with Caribbean music, it's all sexual connotation, whether it's Jamaican, Haitian, Bahamian. That's how most music there starts. It took Bob Marley, if you study on him, to actually change the course of how reggae was presented at that time. It was all sexual. He took it into a different place, and that's why he is who he is. But Caribbean music stems from that period. And even, like you say, it translates today, because now the Miami bass is sped up. They got the new sound, and now the kids are Whoop and the Wu-Tang. It's the same thing. It's just sped up. So everything we're doing is basically remixing what's already there. And I hope that the people who did start it, the Megatrons and those guys that actually are known for fathering, as we think, in the African Mbata and the Planet Rocks, I hope they think we pay homage, or know we pay homage. And hopefully this movie, this will show that we know where we come from, and we give a chance to give back anytime we can when it fits in what we're trying to do creatively. As you see the record Pop That, the new Rick Ross French Montana record, it's just a candle on a sweet cake that says we know where it comes from. Just let us get it in when we can get it in, and make it make sense for today.
Anything you want to say in closing? Any points you want to hit?
No, I mean, just me personally. I come probably from a long line of great musicians that mentored me without them even knowing they were mentoring me. And it takes situations like this because I think a lot of people who've their time is passed in the industry, in the music industry, in the music world. They feel as that nobody recognizes what they've done or what they've accomplished. And I can attest to that just as well as they can because I've had my high moments and my low moments and my ongoing career now. So it behooves me because I appreciate when somebody tells me how I changed their life. To let anybody who was a part of the creation of everything that cultivated Miami bass. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. Liberty City, Overtown, Miami, Orlando, Florida, the world, we appreciate you. For every time I had a great time in the club, Pac Jam, Heart of the City, wherever you've been, if you've been in Miami and been to a club, you always know when the Luke hour comes on, the Miami bass hour comes on, the women hit the floor. So we can never not pay homage to you guys, and not just on a seductive or a superficial level, but on a lyrical, creative, musical level. We appreciate you, man. Keep doing it. Keep banging it out. Mr. Mix, everybody who's doing their thing, the JT Monies, whoever's out there still doing it, keep doing it because, believe it or not, we need it. We need to understand where we come from to understand where we're going. It's your boy Smitty. Bang.